So
All right.
basically, the midwits in the comments replying to this guy are like, "Oh, actually, but like, you know, something something. If you don't
Vote more
vote,
harder.
yeah, vote more harder. If you don't vote, then the leftists will win, the Marxists." And I'm like, you know what? The Marxists have had zero success nationalizing a goddamn thing. I'm not even worried about them.
Right.
You know, they're as impotent as the Republicans. And
Yeah.
then and then you know, because I was gonna welcome, I was like, you know, welcome to the No Vote Party, the largest, most powerful, silent political movement in human history. Um, you know, our our order, our tail is as long as time. You know, of people who refuse to vote.
It goes back
And
to even back to when people weren't even allowed to vote. You
yeah,
know.
exactly, exactly. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, we weren't even voting. You know,
Before it was cool.
you know, now we're cool because we don't vote. But we were not voting even when it wasn't cool, even when no one could vote.
That's right.
You know, but basically, so I'm going to welcome him on, and the midwits are just like, oh, actually, you know, you may not care about politics, but politics cares about you. And I was like, fuck,
Oh. Oh
defeated.
my God. I forgot about that. I forgot how much politicians care about me.
Yeah, it's like,
Fuck.
no, it
Fuck.
doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, you can tell because when Joe Biden was in office, we got universal health care like the Marxists want. We got
Yeah.
the tuition, all the student
UBI.
debt went away, the UBI. Yeah, yeah, you can tell that politics really fucking matters.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I can't tell a
your vote
difference.
really counts.
I can't tell the difference between Biden's presidency and Trump's presidency
It's
at all,
literally just rhetoric.
except
These
for
people,
rhetoric, headlines. Yeah, but other than that, it's the same.
that's
And people,
crazy.
they just live for rhetoric, bro. They don't. They don't give a fuck about action. They just like they want their rhetoric spoon fed into them. You know.
Yeah, they're totally narrative driven because you know
Yeah.
that's all they fucking live for is
Well, we've
they
said
just
it for
want to
years.
see you know, and even lately with let's say let's say someone was assassinated recently, right? You know, don't want to be too topical, but
Yeah, just
someone's
whatever.
assassinated and Trump just gets over it. Like you think like the one thing you want a political party to do, like the one thing is to protect its adherents. To be like, you know, like we advocate for their safety, you know. Can't even get
Yeah.
that. You know, the politician we will fleece them, we will rob them, we will take them, we will dissolve their communities for $6. We will, you know, we will use propaganda. We will inflate the stock price of like auto manufacturers so that they buy these, they go into an arms race for which $90,000 behemoth will make them feel whole again.
Right.
And then basically, you know, and it's like, okay, you do all of that. You crush under the boot the American people. But at the very least, keep us safe from political assassinations.
Yeah.
And
But no, we're not doing that.
the guy can't even get through a week without being
Yeah.
like the ballroom,
Yeah.
football,
He's
the
like, yeah, it's pretty
I'm going to
bad,
the
but I'm
UK.
kind of over it, you know.
I was almost assassinated. I myself was almost assassinated by the escalator. The Secret Service are looking into it. The escalator incident.
Yeah, the escalator. Yeah,
The
that's what. Yeah,
escalator got me.
he
I'm
had to
like,
actually walk up the steps. You know.
yeah, which is on. It's the greatest crime that's ever happened for a politician, is they actually have to exert some effort. You know,
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
he
He
was
had to use
scared
his
he was
own
gonna pull a
legs.
Biden. You know, he's gonna like fall
Yeah.
down the stairs.
fall. Well, it would hurt more on the escalator. I think those things are kind of sharp. You know,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, there's definitely some
they got
gouges
some.
and some
They got some
lacerations.
sharp edges. He had to walk up them. It's his own, like 9/11. You think
Yeah,
about it,
yeah,
like
yeah.
his own personal 9/11.
Yeah, in the beginning he went down the golden escalator, right? Now he's
Yeah,
going up the silver escalator and it stops.
walking up it. Yeah, he has to walk up it
He has to
with his
walk
own
up it.
legs.
God damn it.
Yeah, man.
So it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous that they're actually even contemplating selling citizenship for the price of two houses. It's honestly incredibly sad that the houses cost. It is only two houses in like
Yeah,
$1 million. That
yeah,
the average
yeah.
house costs $25,000. Probably more
Yeah,
at
I
this
mean,
point.
when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, a millionaire was a rich guy. Now he's a guy that owns a house.
Yep. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
he's just your average homeowner.
Yeah.
So it's just Jesus. It's demoralizing. If you care, right? Like if you are still, I mean, you know what? It's demoralizing either way. It's very sad, but at least we can all be poor and with the boot on our neck, and alienated from our communities and our labor and everything else, and then
Separated from the land.
separate from the land.
Separated.
But at least we can have
Right.
solidarity with each other that nothing matters.
Yeah. Well, I've
But
been
no,
saying for a
can't
while
even
the
get that because the
conservative.
sports fans are like, oh, uh, actually, if you don't vote continuously, the liberals will win the fucking
Yeah.
progressive, and they're gonna not make college free. Damn it, we can't
Yeah.
let them not make college free. Like, traitors before enemies. Like, please face the fucking wall.
Well, I've been saying for a while that conservatives really need to come to grasp with the reality that young Americans can't afford to buy houses. You know, that, yeah, we as a society lied to them and told them that they needed to go to college to be successful, and now they have a bunch of college debt and they're making 30 grand a year, and all the $100,000 a year jobs are going to Indians and shit. And that if we can't just keep ignoring this problem, because if they do, you know, that's when I honestly think we're going to see a rise of like a far right pro workers populism. Like almost like
We've never
a
seen this before.
slightly socialist. What?
Yeah, we've never seen this before in history.
Yeah, very
The
nationalistic with some socialist tendencies. I don't know what they'll call it. But
yeah.
I feel like that's what the young generation is going to be leaning into, and I feel like the society, the state, the corporations have pushed them into this upper right corner of the room. You know what I mean?
Well, I said
And
they
they're
were doing
just,
this years ago. I mean, I'm talking about
yeah,
2016. I was like, this is inevitable. They are
yes,
going to turn people into the worst versions of themselves.
yep,
Because we're animals at the end of the day, and just like any other animal, you force them into a corner,
yeah,
they're
they're
gonna
gonna bite
lash
you.
out. They're gonna bite you, right? And
Yeah,
so, and the status quo, the Republicans, and especially the trumpet, right? Because that's all
yeah,
he is just a loud, clanging sound piece. Is
right,
that is at the end of the day, they will kick you maliciously every step of the way that you try to live. Every time you try to breathe, it is them acting against you. You know, you're told to go to college. You say that, well, you know, a lot of these jobs aren't hiring, but go into STEM. Then you get into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt with a predatory interest rate system, you know, that goes right back to the Fed. Then you don't get a job because actually we're going to import all of the workers so that we can make them slaves and you unemployed.
Right,
And
because they'll
so
work for
you know,
buttons, you know, they'll
yeah,
work for
yeah, exactly.
buttons, pieces of shiny glass, right? They'll work for, but they'll keep a goat at their house to milk so that they don't have to buy milk, and they'll work for nickels and buttons. It's
They'll work
great.
for Buffalo Wild Wings. You know, once they've been
Yes,
exposed to Buffalo Wild Wings, you really think they will do anything to be able to go
right.
back to Buffalo Wild Wings. And I say that as an example because you had literal interviews with migrants that are going on these caravans back when people gave a shit about the caravans. Um, the
But they're not happening anymore on TV.
Yeah,
So,
they're not happening
uh,
anymore on TV, so therefore they're not happening. So they interview them, and the kid is like, oh well, you know, back in America, you know, because I was in America before. Back in America, I had a PlayStation, and I could go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'm like, that's all it takes. Doesn't take much, but the cost is just constantly, you know, uh, throating the young American male
yeah,
who is like, I want to build these women. They don't know what they want. Okay, so I'm just gonna do my thing. I'm just gonna get the STEM degree. Now I'm in hundreds of thousands of dollars in interested debt to the bank of the nation. You know, you look around at other countries that make surplus income. They give it to their citizens. They just give the money. They profit and then they just shovel the money. The most oppressive, the most absurd regimes will bribe their citizens. They'll be like, no. But here in the wealthiest nation allegedly in human history, the Neo-Roman Empire, nah. Nah, if anything, we're gonna steal from you, we're gonna kick you while you're down, we're gonna degrade you, and we're gonna let you get killed at the end of the day. And we're not going to give a shit. Remember when he said, well, remember when people were talking about 203? Like, you know, why are these tech platforms, you know, publishers, when they are given, like, provider immunity, right? For,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
crimes and calls to violence and stuff like that, you know? Well, why do they act like publishers? You know, this is something that has been going on since 2017.
Yeah. They're either
There's
are
like,
they publishers or are they a utility? But they want the benefits of both, you
they want
know?
the
The,
benefits of both, and they're given the benefits of both.
they are.
You know, they suck up to Trump just a little bit. You know, Mark Zuckerberg is like, what number do you want me to say in this meeting? To how much we're going to invest in American jabs,
Well, that's the
and
problem
then
with his massive ego. You know, anyone that strokes it right, he'll just do whatever they want.
the
Oh, he
fucking
said I was the best, so
Tim Cook gave him uh, a golden apple placard, a
amazing.
little a little statuette, this little circle with a carved Apple logo in it on a golden like stand. That was it. That's
That's
all
it.
it took.
He's bought for life.
He's
Stroked his
bought for
ego a little
life, you
bit.
know. Now Apple can continue to produce their devices for nickels on the dime. They can continue censoring people. They can track all your information and sell it to the lowest bidder. Because you know, you think, oh wow, this is a function of capitalism, and it's like, well, then why it's always the lowest bidder?
Right.
You know, why is it the person who pays the least amount? Because I have not seen a good bribe in this situation for like at all. Like nothing worth the cost of like being a traitor. So, but yeah,
Well, I mean, if you're
I do
only
think
loyal,
you're gonna take the political animal. You're gonna take the young men. Remember they were bitching. Remember the migrants, the young males from Libya and Syria that were invading Europe. You know, these are men looking. What would they called them men looking for adventure. They're violent. You know, they don't care, right? So they will identify that, but they won't identify that very same demographic growing in power in their backyard. Disillusioned young men, doesn't matter where the gun is aimed at, it's going to be aimed somewhere because at the end of the day, they're put in a corner and they are muzzled and they are beaten in every single step and they force them to do it. And so
yeah,
it's like, you know, it does not sound like a bad position at all. If someone does not want to invest their life in the United States, if someone, you know, I'm even going to give the welfare advantagers, let's just say, welfare royalty. I'm going to give them a little slack because if your whole society is doing nothing but kicking you and robbing you and fleecing you and degrading everything that makes you a functioning member of a collective, then why the fuck would you care? Why would
why
you
would you
invest? Why?
shame them
Yeah,
for
why?
not participating in the collective? Why would
Yeah,
you do that?
so my path of employment has been completely hijacked, and then we're gonna be like, oh, these unemployed basement dwellers. All right, well,
Yeah.
you took away employment, so fuck you.
Well, you
Uh,
price them out of housing, and then you make fun of them because they live in their mom's basement too.
yeah,
You know, like
you price the houses out of
right.
them, and then you're like, wow, these fucking basement dudes, they live with their parents. I was like, yeah, no shit. The fuck you say?
Yeah.
Do you think they can afford rent, dude? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And then they will strike the people while they're just trying to let live. They're just trying to be alone, and then somehow they get dragged back into every few weeks. Every few weeks, the fucking media circle will pull out this random demographic, the basement dwelling young men, and they'll be like, how dare they not participate in a society that fucking hates them?
Right. Yeah.
How dare they not get a job that they can't get and get into debt that they'll never recover from, and then save for a house they'll never afford, and for a family that they can't build because the culture is so fucking toxic? You know,
Yep. You know,
how dare they isolate? You know, they're like, oh, these people aren't gonna vote. Well, I guess the other guy's gonna get it. Yeah, who gives a fuck, dude?
yeah. Why should they care?
Yeah, why? Honestly, why should they care? Literally, they have no reason to care. They have no
No,
reason
they.
to invest in a society that hates them. And if anything, I applaud them for it. The farther they take it, the better. You know, I don't like violence. I'm not a big fan of people dying, right?
Yeah.
But like, that's where it's going. Cause you're gonna chase them into their parents' houses, and then you're gonna chase them out of the houses. Like, what the fuck do you think is gonna
Oh,
happen?
eventually they're going to come out of their mom's basement, but they're going to be goose stepping when they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're looking at. I think that's the future. You know, it's like I said, Gen Z is the future, and the future is Zig Heiling. They are zigging the Heil. They're going to organize around anything they can to try and build a community amongst each other because the rest of society just beats them with a stick every time they stick their head out, you know? So they're going to stay in their mom's basements and talk to each other. And that's where we want them. We want them just, we push them outside of the political discussion to the fringes of the internet where they can figure it out themselves and see what they figure out, you know?
And then we allow these companies to censor them so much where they even
Yeah,
lose,
that's why, yeah, they have to go to the fringes of the internet. They can't even speak on,
but they don't erase them. They're not, they're just erased from like the discussion.
yeah,
They're just being like, oh, well, we don't want to talk to you. And it's like, eventually they're going to figure out that,
you
the
should have
time
talked
to
to them.
talk, you can't talk to them. So what else are you going to do? You know?
Yeah.
So the one bit of solidarity that they can have, the one bit of solidarity, and then suddenly, for not participating, they're ridiculed. They're saying, oh, you're going to throw away your vote. Oh, the other guys who also don't do fucking anything are going to get into office. Oh my God. So
But what if
disingenuous.
the people who don't pretend they care about you and then turn around and stab you in the back? What if they don't win?
Yeah,
Then
exactly. We
you know,
stab you. We pretend. We put some effort into pretending we care, and we stab you in the back.
yeah.
Look at us. Do you really want a group of people who don't even pretend?
Yeah,
Wow.
what the hell?
How fucking dare you, dude? Dude, we're willing to lie to you about the possibility of you actually getting employment eventually.
Yeah.
You know? So, you should vote for us. You should give us infinite money. And just elevate every fucking bitch in a white pantsuit, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's what we need. More bitches in pantsuits,
More bitches
obviously.
in white pantsuits all over Congress, all over the government, every agency, all the way to the presidency. We're gonna do it. Every woman a
Yeah.
white pantsuit, every man a slave.
And if you talk against the women in the white pantsuit, you're some kind of misogynist woman hater.
You just
You're
hate
sexist pig
pantsuits.
dog. Yeah.
So it's just absolutely, it's just unbelievable. Like
Well, you wonder why
the
these
state of
guys,
shit.
you wonder why they're nihilists, all these young guys. Lots of them are just so nihilistic. And I've been preaching for years to the young men to just like, just stay positive and keep your nose to the grindstone and shit. And I don't even feel like telling them that shit no more. Because now I'm lying to them, Like it worked for me, but will it work for them? No, probably
Mm,
not.
no.
So now if I encourage them to like do the same things in life that I found success, now I'm just the boomer now. Now I'm the
Yeah.
boomer that's going, hey, just go in there and give the manager a firm handshake. Tell him you're looking for work.
And
You'll
he'll
be
keep you
CEO
on. He'll take
someday.
care of you and your family for the next
Yeah,
40 years.
you'll be CEO someday. Like I'm not. Now they're like, you know what? This can't country's going to shit. And we can't buy a house and we can't make money. And instead of me going, wait, what you need to do? I go, yeah, you're right. You guys are right. I don't know what to tell you. It's a shit sandwich. Like, that's all I can say if I'm being honest with them. Like I was talking to one like some groiper, whatever, same thing. I was talking to some groiper, and I was like saying how, yeah, well, college is a big scam. Everybody's gone to college, and they're making 30 grand a year, while Indians are coming over here and driving semi trucks and making $200,000 a year. And he's like, oh yeah, that's what we should do. We should just all go into the trades. We can that way we can be plumbers and stuff like that, and it'll lock us completely out of the political process. And then Karjeet gets to be the mayor. And I was just like, God damn it. It's a really good point. You know,
Yeah.
like the kid's right. So like now, like I've spent a lot of my adult life, probably the last 15 years, like giving young men advice on how to get their lives in order, and not like the manosphere type of advice for a couple of reasons. I don't tell them retarded shit like the manosphere does, but I also don't charge them money for it. I just talk to them, you know? And now I don't have anything to say. I don't have any, like, every positive thing that I would say to these young men to give them hope has just been dashed away from them, you know?
But like, is it even possible to give young men good advice if it's not paired with a testosterone supplement?
Yeah, I didn't even, that's where I messed up is I did not try to sell any gas station boner pills while I was giving the advice. That's definitely
Yeah,
where I failed the country.
it's fucking crazy, dude. I don't know. I don't know how anything's gonna recover from this. It's getting worse, and
Yep.
everyone's pretending like it's perfectly fine. To just not even to not have any representation anywhere. And
No,
then
they're too busy coping and pretending like, oh, we're winning. Like someone was talking about how, oh, we're winning, and I'm like, how? How are conservatives winning? They're like, well, now abortion is a states' rights issue, and so we're winning. And I'm like, yeah, we have more abortions than ever. Good job. So while you're doing your victory lap, you're actually losing, and you're just cheering out of sheer cope, which is only helping you lose faster. It's pretty rough out here for a human being in this third world country we've transformed America into.
yeah,
They're like, oh, if we don't bring in the Indians, we won't have doctors. Like, what? What are you talking? First off, there's like 23,000 medical students a year total. And how many of these seats are we given to Chinese students and Indians and Pakistanis and all this stuff? And like, we have American citizens that are being pushed out, rejected. I mean, there's like 23,000 medical students this last semester, and there was 51,000 applicants, right? But we have to import people for this,
hmm yeah, it's bullshit. So,
obviously. Like we need people from a country with an average IQ of
but
seventy-six.
the cope hasn't even changed. You'd think that they would at least evolve with the cope. The cope is the same as it was in the beginning. Baby Trump, he's never been in politics before. He just needs to be handheld through the process, and he had no idea about the H-1B visa issue. We just need to get him a bigger majority in the midterm so that they can lie to you from even more seats in Congress. You know? Don't you
Yeah, well
understand? He
they
just
got
doesn't
a
know. He just doesn't know.
they got a majority, and what do they spend the whole year doing? Trying to basically come to common ground with people whose votes they don't even need. It's a
Yep.
lark. It's bullshit. It's Goldberg versus Razor Ramon. In comes Vince McMahon, and it's the Son of God with a steel chair. And it's just like it's pro wrestling. It's so fake. It depends on where you live, which political party is playing the heel. If you live in the city, the Republicans are the heel. If you live outside of the city, then the Democrats are the heel. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then they switch back and forth between who wins, so that half the country feels appeased for a little while, and then they just switch back over to the other party, so the other half of the country feels appeased for a little while, so that we're all comfortable holding hands in the downward spiral that is the American empire.